We are all sad and depressed. You're not different. Even the biggest people on self-improvement that you know, like Hamza Ahmed, Andrew Tate, whatever, even myself, we are depressed. We are all depressed. We're all sad motherfuckers. And not just me and Hamza Ahmed, whatever. All of us, every single person on this earth is depressed. Everyone. But what makes us different, people like Hamza Ahmed, Andrew Tate, and myself, what makes us different than the rest of the sad and depressed motherfuckers? It's how we go about it. All of us are depressed, but not all of us let it take us down and make us just do nothing and let the emptiness in your head and the sadness just kind of take over. Everyone is depressed. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because yesterday I decided to go drinking. I decided, okay, I just need to socialize. I mean, it's been like probably 4 months since the last time I socialized, and I just said, bro, let's just do it. I think you'll get a ton of ideas after the socializing thing, which I did. I have so many ideas. But then I was at the socializing event, alright? So we were watching the World Cup. Germany versus, bro, how did I forget? Germany versus Ivory Coast, and obviously before Netherlands versus Sweden. So we were watching it, and we were sitting all together, we were drinking, we were having a ton of fun. I got drunk first, after like 4 or 5 beers, because I haven't drank in like fucking 4 months. And you may think that's okay, that's fine, but bro, compared to these Germans with literal beer in their veins, like these people have beer in their veins, I swear to God. It's very fucking weak compared to them. But okay, that's not a flex, really. But again. And I was realizing, I already knew, but these guys are they're all depressed. But we all deal with depression differently. And how I deal with it and how most self-improvement creators deal with it, that's the correct way. We use this emptiness feeling, this feeling that we have that we're not good enough, that things are going wrong in our life. We use it as motivation, as dedication to something bigger. If you feel like you feel so shit in your body, go to the gym, hit them weights, do some cardio, get in the deficit. If you feel like, I don't know, your job is in a dead end and you just hate it, quit. Start something you really actually want to do. Start social media. Start that business that you were too scared of to do. That's how we deal with it. But these guys, I don't want to insult them. I don't want to, because I love them. But they are not taking life seriously enough. Some of them are coming around. I mean, some of them are actually going to the gym now, and they're making pretty good progress. Dang, that was a fucking big ass insect. Some of them are coming around now. A lot of them, actually. It's crazy. They're actually going to the gym. Obviously, gym's not everything in life, but you know what I mean. But even still, they deal with their depression differently by socializing every weekend, multiple times a week, and drinking multiple times a week. And then there's the other people. There's this one person, most of the times it's women. This is how most women, like I would probably say 90% of women deal with depression. They just completely victimize themselves. Like this bitch, I don't know what the fuck she was on, but anyway, she was just sitting in the corner completely alone. Like even this bitch, she had a boyfriend, right, as one of her friends, and then she was just kind of sitting there alone with her hood up. It wasn't even cold, bro. It was like, what, 25 degrees Celsius outside, which is like 70, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly, I don't know. Like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? We're all trying to socialize here, and you're sitting there acting like, I don't know, fucking Anakin Skywalker, like he's about to kill some younglings here. Like, why? What are you doing? At least drink, at least fucking socialize and act like nothing's happening. At least do that. It's the people who victimize themselves which are the fucking the worst, like the scum of the earth. And there's the people who kind of ignore it. They just ignore it in the sense that they go partying, they go drinking, they go this and that. And there's the people that face it and change it. Like us. Like you. I hope. But these other people, I would say there's definitely transition phases of how people deal with depression. Obviously, there are people who victimize themselves, and then the people, like, they kind of transition into the guys who kind of ignore it. So they victimize themselves, like, oh, my life is so shit. And there's like the guys who say, okay, I'm sick of being a victim. Let's just enjoy life. So they go drinking with their friends, and I would say that's not even a bad life. Might as well have fun. And not, okay, you're not achieving anything, but at least you're not victimizing yourself and acting like your problems are worse than anybody else's. It's like, this is why the title of this is like, you're not different. Your depression, your problems, your trauma, your whatever, you're not different. Everybody, as I said, everybody's depressed. I should have said this at the start. Everybody has trauma. Everybody has problems. One has abusive parents. One has, well, no parents. Maybe one of their siblings died. One, I don't know, one has some type of mental disorder. One has this, one has that, one broke up with, I don't know, a long-term relationship, or broke up with their girlfriend. I could list 1,000 examples. We all have problems. Obviously, you could definitely say, like, a guy who has his parents have died, it's definitely way worse than a guy who just broke up with his girlfriend, definitely. But that's still, I would say it still has the same effect. Not the exact same, you could say, depression level, but it still leads to the same outcome. Obviously, you can change its outcome, but it always leads to something. It's like, when I read David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, I was like, bro, what the fuck am I on? Just because, okay, when I bought this book, I was injured and I was kind of coping with life. Like, I injured my elbow and I thought life was cruel. I definitely have my reasons. Like, when I got injured, it was a year in the gym. A year in the gym, that's a fucking accomplishment, right? Consistent. And you're gonna make a decent amount of progress. And once you start losing that, you're gonna be depressed. You're gonna be depressed, and you're gonna cope. And then I read this book, and I was like, bro, shut the fuck up, get up, do some work. Like, David Goggins, he couldn't read or write until he was like a teenager, because his abusive dad, like when he was very young, like 3 or 4 years old, he made him work in his nightclub like 2, 3 in the morning, right? And then he could only go to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. And obviously he still had to go to school because, not 3 or 4 years old, he was probably like obviously old enough to go to school or kindergarten. And he couldn't read or write for the majority of his childhood until just before he graduated. And obviously with the abusive parent, not just abusing him, but also abusing his brother's brother, and his mother. The racism back in the 1980s. Yeah, I think he was born in 1970s, grew up in the 1980s. And obviously then segregation just came to an end, like maybe like 10, 15 years ago, like when he was born. And, there was obviously still racists. Where did he live? I forgot where he lived. I think it was more south. It was Florida somewhere, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm yapping. But obviously, with the racism back then, like, I'm not just talking, oh, everybody's racist because he's black. He was threatened, literally, life threatened. And then you compare your problems to his, and you're just like, you literally have the privilege to buy drugs and alcohol and chill on the weekends with your friends, and then this guy is completely alone because everybody thinks he's a weirdo. Not just because he's black, but can't read or write, and he's kind of awkward. And he's obviously tired throughout the day. Looks like a fucking slug of shit because you know, he has to work at this nightclub because his dad makes him, or else he'll get beat. He'll get beaten up. And you're comparing your problems, and you're saying because, I don't know, because you don't feel confident in the way you look, and life is over. I hate you black pill people, you're just dumb. I'm just gonna say that, you're dumb if you're black pilled. Looks do matter, but you're dumb if you're black pilled. This is not the topic anyway. But then you use that as an excuse to just stay a fucking dickhead. You literally have the privilege as well to buy alcohol and just live this completely meaningless life. Okay, maybe you're having fun, yes, but I guarantee you, every time you have fun, every time the night ends, you realize that you have to go back to this life that you hate. You hate the way you look, you hate the way life is, you hate school, you hate this. What is that life? As I talked about, I think 2-3 videos ago, about my teacher saying, I don't get these people who go to the gym after 8 hours of hard work. Might as well just drink a beer and relax in the evening. Like, why would I stress myself another 2 or 3 hours? I do see his point, but I think that's just a cope for how you view your life. You don't like that you're a teacher, you probably wanted to do something else. You being a teacher was maybe just a compromise for your parents. Maybe they didn't want you to really do what you wanted to do. Or whatever, right? This is just a compromise. And because of that, you can't really change that now. You're like 40, 50 years old. And all you can really do is like have a beer every night before he goes to sleep. And you can watch his TV. And share those maybe next 1 or 2 hours. You can relax and you can kind of enjoy life a bit. But once the TV's off, once the beer's empty, you realize that your life is shit again. Like, what is that life? Everybody's depressed, everybody has their problems. Why should you have the privilege to be a degenerate? I can't lie, it's actually a privilege to be degenerate. It is not even a privilege to, actually it is. But I would say it's less of a privilege to strive for something than it is to be a degenerate. Porn, drugs, alcohol. These are our privileges. Things in like third world countries that they don't have the luxury of. People in countries of war, where there's civil wars, they don't have the luxury of drinking alcohol because they literally have to fight for their lives, scrap for food and shelter. Their lives are obviously so depressing, but they can't think about that right now. They can't think about relaxing. They're literally on alert mode 24/7. Imagine being anxious, like literally. You're probably anxious a lot. Like I am anxious a lot. But you might get anxious, okay, oh, exam, oh, this and that. But that's maybe like only 30 minutes or an hour, tops. Yeah, probably that's it. And then the rest of the day, you're just going about it your day. But these guys are literally feeling that 24/7. And you still have the privilege to be a degenerate. Why? They literally have the excuse to be a degenerate. I mean, there's people that I know, they come from Syria, you know, like, the war's ended, there was a civil war, and they had to flee, obviously, because of all the fucking wars and the bombs. And then my friend was telling me the whole, like, story of getting to Germany. And I was like, oh my god, bro. And it was just like another realization, like, bro, you're not that guy. Your problems are not that deep. Experiencing war when you're a child, that's not something someone should experience that young. War, death, that is not something someone should experience at least that young of age, or at any age at all. Yet this guy, I mean, he was a complete degenerate, I can't lie. Obviously he's here now in a first world country. He can be degenerate, which he was. and he's kind of fallen back, but I feel like he'll bounce back. But then he started going to the gym. He stopped vaping weed. He stopped weed. He stopped alcohol. He stopped all of that, and he started going to MMA. He started doing something he really wanted to strive for. I don't know now. I mean, bro, his mother is sick. Oh. His mother is sick. His father is abusive. Yet he was probably as disciplined as me. Well, now he's kind of fallen off again, but I believe he'll bounce back up. Every tough self-improvement, disciplined motherfucker, you know, on the internet always had their discipline phase, and then they kind of fell off, and then they came back. But I believe he'll bounce back soon, sooner or later. He has all the excuses in the world. He's an abusive parent, sick mother, traumatic childhood, literal real PTSD. Imagine actually having PTSD. Oh, you might say, oh, I have PTSD from, I don't know, some random bullshit. But this is real PTSD. Literal gunfire. They heard that. People being killed at the ripe age of 6 years old, 8 years old. Yet he decided that he won't let life bring him down anymore. And he will use this depression, this emptiness that he feels, and fill it up with something meaningful. And filling it up with vapes, weed, and alcohol, it's just a fragile structure that will break once you stop feeding it. But once you start slowly filling that hole up with actual stable structure, with meaning, those holes will never break. Of course they might break if you stop doing it, but it's very unlikely. So I just really wanted to make this video to show that you're not alone, but you're still not that guy. You're not that guy. Everybody has the reason to be a degenerate. Other people even have more reasons. I would still argue that people like David Goggins and my friends, they argue differently and they show differently. People with real trauma. Their problems are not different. I hope you learned something.